Lads, gentle gents, picture this. It's the late 80s, you want to play your NES from a distance. Maybe you got a big living room or something like that. You only got so much cord to work with. So, you know, you need something. And we have modern day solutions for this. For instance, every company under the sun, anybody on Amazon, AliExpress, or eBay will make these things. It's basically the same length of cord, so you get double the length out of it to play your NES. So in the late 80s, they didn't really have these for a couple of reasons. One, because TV screens were smaller back then. If you had a TV that was large enough for you to sit across the room double the length of an NES cord, you were rich as fuck. So making controller extenders wasn't really a big business back then, but they existed. For instance, the NES 4-score, which I don't own, so I'll just put up a picture of one, or the NES Satellite, which took batteries, used infrared, you had to point it directly at it, but because you didn't really have to touch the module, wasn't a big deal. Plus, you could play 4-player NES games. So, there were other options too. Enter the Wizmaster Quickshot, which doesn't stand on its own, but it also uses infrared. We didn't really use RF from, like, apart from, like, controllers in the Atari days, which you can find reviews of those. They're pretty cool. I even saw a video of a guy fixing one. I'm getting off track. Here's the dongle for the quick shot right here. It's got a long cord because you'd probably want to set it on top of your TV back then, which, by the way, guys, back then they had CRTs. You could do such a thing. You could set this on top of it and it would be just fine because, you know, there was actually a surface on top of TVs back then. So the Wizmaster Quick Shot is actually pretty accurate. There is no latency between here and here like you might expect. All I can say is this controller is underwhelming. It's impressive that it works as well as it does, but it's still underwhelming. It's also a turbo controller. There's a little switch down here that you can adjust that with. There was probably, as you can see, there's some threads in here, so you could probably screw in a little extendable joystick, which I'm sure is what came with this thing when you bought it brand new back in the day. This D-pad is so large, it's hard to get from one side to the other, and because it's so weirdly shaped, something as simple as pressing up, you're likely to press left or right while doing so. I tested this game out on Wrecking Crew and Super Mario Bros. 3. I had better luck with Super Mario 3 than Wrecking Crew, because every time I tried to climb up a ladder, I would just fall off because I would accidentally hit left or right, even though I was just pushing up. That's kind of the issue with having a D-pad shaped like a rhombus. B and A are too far away from each other. This game would only, and they kind of press weird. It's only this left side that actually presses down, the right side doesn't. This controller might be fine with something like Final Fantasy, where you're just going to be running around. You don't have to worry about how close the buttons are together. You just have to know where they're at. Start and select also, it's a weird thing. It pivots like a seesaw. Good thing there aren't really any games where you have to press them both at the same time, except like Tetris or those games that reset if you press start, select A and B. Kirby's Adventure will do that. Tetris will do that as well. So I guess you might not be able to reset with this controller, but that should be just fine because you really probably shouldn't use this controller. Feels weird in the hands. It's all there, but it's all not there, if that makes any sense. It looks more like a spaceship. Shoot lasers out the front, that's what that's for. On the back here, it has these little things as if you want to like put a thumbtack in it or hang it on the wall. But how are you going to do that with this big ass thing right here? I don't know. This is removable. Check it out. Isn't that crazy? Maybe it came with something where you could actually just plug it in, but that would defeat the purpose of it being a wireless controller. Oh, should you get this controller? No. If you're not pointing it directly at the dongle itself, it'll start wigging out, pressing random buttons, pausing, unpausing, all that sort of stuff. So if you're not totally attentive while using this controller, you're gonna fuck up a bunch. So no, don't use the Wizmaster Quick Shot. It's a fun thing to have. It's a funny thing to have. Don't buy it. But it is cheap if you want to hang it on your wall. But you'll have to pull off the module, which, by the way, will defeat the purpose of it being a wireless controller. What's the point? Put the module back on. What are you doing? Okay, guys, that's all I've got to say about the Wizmaster Quick Shot. Thank you for watching.